This is a qualitative research piece, so there you go. So hello again, everybody. Hello, welcome to the stream. So title for today, responding to reviews, questioning qualitative research. So I'm going to let you guys see my new haircut and keep the main camera on me because I just want to use the my notes as a backup. I don't have obviously I don't want to be reading to you guys from notes and so on. Okay, so good. So basically, I wrote this paper, which is based on interviews that I'm now reviewing for an R&R decision. And basically, the reviewer said, "Look, this is qualitative research. There's no validity. There's no reliability. You know, what's the point of this?" Okay, so, and then they ask a bunch of questions. That basically imposed criteria from qualitative research, quantitative research on my paper, which is obviously, not something I can address because this is not quantitative research. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that it is quantitative research because otherwise it would be bad quantitative research. Anyway, so basically, what I did in my notes, and I ended up then transposing to the introduction to the opening of the method section, was to explain what's the difference of a qualitative and a quantitative study on my topic, which is how do you improve volunteer performance. And basically, what I wrote is that the point of the paper is not to argue that all volunteers or even a majority see volunteering as serious leisure, and that organizations where volunteers do see volunteering as serious leisure follow the model in the paper. I just want to show that serious leisure allows us to break away from this, I don't say assumption because it's not an assumption, it's based on research, but from this view that dominates the literature on volunteering that says that performance and retention are opposite goals. That if you try to improve performance, you will lose people. If you try to keep people, you cannot attempt to improve performance. Okay, so that's the difference, right? So I'm showing that it is possible to have a leadership process that improves performance without jeopardizing retention when the literature doesn't show that. Now, is this a process that all organizations use? I don't know. That most organizations use? I don't know. But that's not the point. The point is that this process exists, and the theoretical contribution is that this tension, well, it may be there, but it may also not be there if volunteers take their volunteering work as serious leisure. So I go on to say that this is a theoretical rather than empirical generalization. So what does that mean? That rather than specifying the most common relationship among variables, that's what quantitative research does, I use data to advance a new relationship among variables that cannot be deduced from current research alone, basically. That is what I'm doing. Then I got I got a critique that I have gotten in other papers, and this is that when you pick data of a group of people that are interacting with another group of people, reviewers can always come back to you and say, how about the other group of people? So in my case, I have data about choir maestros, the leaders, but I did not interview choir members, the singers, the followers, the employees, the volunteers, right? And when I responded to that, I mean, that's a fair point, and it's a point that is not related to quantitative or qualitative research. So it's a fair point. So my response to that is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to understand, to explain leadership practices. I'm not trying to explain effective leadership practices. So what I'm trying to explain is, what do leaders do when confronted with a problem that they need to improve performance, but that they are aware that they need to keep members, volunteers in the organization, right? And this is based on leaders' interpretations, not perceptions, because perceptions assumes that there is an objective reality. That's not true, right? So on leaders' interpretations. So as nice as it would be to have interviews with singers, I don't need them, because I'm not trying to explain singers' behavior. I'm trying to explain leaders' behavior, okay? Then I finally got a comment about validity and reliability. I'm going to answer that in the review letter, because reliability is about how multiple authors looked at the data. And I do explain that. That's, the trivial, what authors coded independently, and then we compare it and sort of like solved disagreements. So that's reliability. For validity, again, it's this idea of this being theoretical generalization, not empirical generalization, okay? So basically, what's the insight here? The insight here is that, it is super important that it's clear in your mind, in our mind as qualitative researchers, what qualitative research is and what qualitative research is not, okay? I just need one planet with rings to argue that planets can form rings around them. I don't need to argue that Saturn, the planet with the rings, is an example of how every planet creates rings. There may be other processes, we don't know. We know that there is this one process that explains how rings are created and that shows that planets can have rings, okay? That's the idea. That's the difference between theoretical and empirical generalization. Hope this was useful for everybody who is doing qualitative research. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter, as usual. Always happy to interact with you, with everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. It means a lot. Thank you very much. Have a great one.